Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to Coffee Can't Fix Everything. This is a podcast where we talk about mental health over a cup of coffee. And man, I got somebody with me today, man. I've been so excited for this episode. Not only do I just respect this man, but like he just has so much knowledge. And yes, a lot that you be thinking, bruh.
Too much sometimes. Good and bad.
Yeah, but like we connected over our love for basketball, and we've been rocking ever since. I mean, I don't know if I want to call you Coach Julian, the Dojo, Dr. Joe. What do you go by? What do you want to go by?
All of those.
Oh.
Sometimes Knucklehead. No, everybody calls me Coach Jew, but
Coach Jew. Yeah, Coach
yeah.
Jew. I like that. But hey, man, I appreciate you being here with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, what's been on my heart lately, you know, when I was really thinking about our conversation, is perseverance. That's whenever I was thinking about our conversation today, that's the one word that just come into my mind was perseverance. So with that said, what does perseverance mean to Coach Jew?
I mean, I think that would define Coach Jew. Yeah, I think that would define Coach Jew. So, it's funny. So I coached basketball at North High School, and I just got done with my third season. And ironically, it makes me the veteran coach in the CIML, or not CIML, the Alliance South, because the veterans that were there took other jobs. So now I'm, been there the longest.
You're the OG now.
I'm the OG now.
After 3 years.
Yeah, I do a big air quotations on that. But me and my assistant coach was talking about it. We got to 15 wins this year. Our first year we had 2. Then the second year we had 5, and now we got 15. And we was riding in the car yesterday just laughing. It was like all we did was stick it out.
Man.
That's all. It's like people who are called great by other people would 90% of the time just talk about perseverance. I don't feel like I'm doing anything great other than just sticking through hard times, which is really, really hard to do.
Right. But isn't that great though? Like being able, knowing that the odds are against you, but you just keep going. And I know we're talking about basketball, but this is life too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just you keep going, you persevere, and then at some point, only God knows when you make it on the other side, but you make it on the other side. For you in your basketball journey, that took 3 seasons, right? To get go from 2 wins to 15, and that's, in my opinion, that's pretty quick. Yeah. But you had to. I'm sure that 2-win season didn't feel good, and then you probably had people who wanted to quit. Some people would have quit. 2 wins, I'm good.
Yeah, and that the 15-win season isn't because of the 2 seasons before. It's 15, 16, 17 years of trying to find my place in a world that often when you try to jump outside of the spectrum of things, you get judged pretty heavily. And for me, I've always been a people person, which a lot of times when you're a people person, you get along with people, you can fall into the category of people pleasing. Because you want people like you, and now you're told you're a likable guy. So now It's almost like
you want everybody to
like you, which is really hard to do when you're trying to create something and do something new outside of the box, because now you're doing it for people to like it.
Yeah.
And the second, it's interesting when people give you praise and you hold on to it. When they give you criticism, you hold on to it. You don't get to pick and choose which one you hold on to. So it's the perseverance part is trying to let go of either or of them and just staying focused on what the goal is and what I'm trying to do. My whole life has been perseverance, from not meeting my biological father till I was in my 30s to, how I grew up with my parents. And, man, I love them. Both work at factories for 40 years. And my whole family is about perseverance. And sometimes it may not look like that from the outside, but yeah, perseverance definitely defines me.
I like that you said sometimes it doesn't look like that, because I think people have the idea that almost like a movie. So when you look at your life, from a youngin to now, and your story around perseverance, what were the ups and downs as a young man just trying to get it? What were the ups and downs of that, and what what was your thought process for those young men listening? What was your thought process to say, I need to keep going? I can see it. I need to keep going.
When I was younger, my thought process was just trying to prove everybody wrong. Like,
Yep.
I had a list. Yeah, I made a list,
You
dog,
better live.
and I was trying to prove everybody wrong, and it worked. It worked, and anything I tried to achieve, I would achieve it. Whether it was trying to get on the court in high school to play basketball, and I didn't get on the court till my senior year, to then having a goal of playing in college, to having 9 coaches in 8 years, to opening a Anytime Fitness, to anything I've ever tried to do early on, it was proving people wrong because somebody always had something to say about it. Um, that was perseverance for me early on. Now, it's about proving it to me. It took the
Yeah.
anger out of it and that spiteful energy, because it can carry you at times, but then when you achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve, you still got that angry kind of bottled up energy. And I started to recognize that. And the first 2 years, even coaching at North, I had some of that energy. And this year I went into it saying, no, I got a lot to prove to myself, not to anybody else. Like, I want to show me that I can do it. And I felt so much more joy and so much more peace. I could rest easier at night, win or lose. Like, my energy wasn't up and down. So the perseverance is still there. I just took the focus off of other people and just balled that list up and threw it away, because
Right.
it didn't matter anymore whether they told me I did a good job or whether they told me I didn't. I appreciate people telling me that we're doing a good job and that I do a good job of things. Like, I appreciate it, but I don't hold on to it, and it doesn't have to propel me in any kind of way.
Yeah. I it's funny you talked about your list and how it's almost like it was a growth to where you're at now. Like, you had this list, you had this anger, but there were a lot of people that feel like, Michael Jordan had this list and he's the greatest, and he, what I'm saying, he took everything personal, right? But I don't think that's for everybody. I don't necessarily think it was glorified, and like it works. Maybe it works. I think it works to a certain point. Similar to you, I had things that I wanted to achieve, and I felt like people didn't believe I could achieve them. Therefore, I just worked harder. But at what point does that? At what point does that backfire?
I think, if you watch, and a lot of people have their opinions on the final dance.
Oh, The Last Dance.
The
Yep.
last dance, right? You got a tour with some of the guys now who are talking bad on him, which is interesting. I think I seen one picture, like Horace Grant was on the mic talking bad about him, but he had some Jordans on.
Yeah. Make it make sense. The math ain't mathing on that one.
But his first 3 championships, I would definitely say that he definitely had targets and people he was going after. And then he left basketball. He lost his dad, and life looked different for him. And it seemed like his last 3 had a different type of energy to him. I think Kobe is similar. Like, his first 3, maybe even first 4, because I'd say 4, because that 4th one he was really trying to prove he could win without Shaq.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he got that 5th one, and the energy shifted, and he realized, like, I don't need to throw this anger at other people. So it does work at times, but I think the people who are using that, it can be draining too. And again, like, it's never enough. Like, you're never satisfied when you get to the thing, because now you're who's next instead of, I worked really hard for this thing, I've achieved it, say thank you, be happy, celebrate, and then you can move on to something else or try to pursue it again. But there's more joy there than
Right. How do you teach that kind of mentality to, you're a coach, and I think I've said this to you before. Basketball coaches in general, are some of most necessary people in a young man's life. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, like I had some great coaches that really, if it wasn't for some of the mentoring and things that I was taught as a youngin, I probably would have made some of the few decisions that got me to where I'm at now. How do you teach that mentality of perseverance, but also not, staying competitive and being a better man to some of these young men in the day and age that we are now? Because you have a whole different battle than what my coach had. You know what I'm saying? So what is that? What is that like for you?
Just getting them to understand that you got to lose first, and you got to lose hard. And like the L's, they got to happen, and you have to learn each time how are you going to respond to it.
Right.
And like it's just the journey of it, and like my responsibility as a coach is trying to get them to reframe what losing looks like because losing isn't everything's over, you're gonna look this certain way. So we had a game early in the season. It was our maybe second game, and we went to Roosevelt and we lost. They beat us by a good 14. It was like they were up by like 10 most of the game.
Right.
We fought back some in the second half, but they beat us by a good 14. Man, those kids talk so much trash to our boys, and rightfully so. They beat us, right? Like I'm not one of those guys that's offended by talking trash. The new generation where they like, when they try to make Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all these people
Yeah.
out to be, nah, this is what this game is.
That's the game.
That's the game. That's the game. So we get done with that game and we go in the locker room, and I just told them, like, this is our journey. You don't get to sign up and decide how many losses you get and how many wins you get. We set our goals, right? And we wanted to have 15 wins. We wanted to win conference. We wanted to get to sub-state. We wanted to not lose any guys to eligibility. We wanted guys on all conference team, you name it. And I just reminded them of all of our goals and that this is our path. We can't choose it any other way. We have to accept whatever is being thrown at us, and then we'll respond properly. And each time we do, and respond is a key word because a lot of people react. I like the word respond. You see it, now how do you want to respond? And after that game, that's when we decided who we was going to be. We didn't press as much as we wanted to that game. The fourth quarter we did. And in that locker room, I said, this is who we're going to be the rest of the season. We're going to make this game fast and powerful and exciting. And we're going to make other people adjust to us. And that loss helped us become who we were trying to become. And that's what losses are. That's what they're there for. Like, you just can't stop. That's that perseverance thing again.
Let's break that down a little bit more because I wish we had an offering basket right now because you preaching. Let me look, bro. And I'm gonna paraphrase it, but like that, what you say hit me in the sense of you have a goal. You set this goal already. Yeah, you lost the Roosevelt. You're going to lose, but the goal should never change. And I feel like people miss that. As they set a goal, and as soon as something doesn't go right within that path, they're either changing to a new goal or blowing up the goal completely. And it's like, yo, you're gonna have losses, but you know who you are. It is going to happen. It is inevitable.
If you don't want to lose, don't set a goal. Just leave it alone, because God got something for you when you set a goal. Because the goal is outside of who you are currently. You're not there yet. That's why it's a goal that you're trying to get to. And in order to get to it, you've got to grow. You got to do your plyometrics. You got to get in the weight room. You got to break those muscle fibers down. You got, like, all those things got to happen, and that happens through the adversity as long as you keep going. And that's how your faith builds, and then that's how you get closer and closer to your goal. And you just keep telling yourself, this. I know that something bad just happened, but this is leading me towards what I want. And I just have to know that, and I gotta keep telling myself that.
Yeah. How are there any tips and tricks that you do to keep your mind focused on that, to keep you from going left, going right, and just staying in the lane that you're currently in?
So interesting that you asked that. Currently, my day job is ending in July, and I've been in this like place of, okay, I'm just gonna write my books and speak and so every day, man, I just been putting time in, from getting logos to meeting with marketing people to signing up for the move with Be Well.
Yo, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, to designing merch, to like I'm doing something every single day. And today, man, I woke up in a funk. I woke up in a funk, and I didn't know where it was coming from. I think, I'm a single dad. I got 3 kids. I got one in college, one 15, one almost 3, and here I am about to jump out on this limb and take
Yeah.
this big gamble. Well, I got to take care of these kids, and it's just playing in my mind over and over. And then I got out of bed, I showered, I kind of moved around. I knew I was in a funk, and then I was like, all right, let me find some music that I need. I found some. I think it was Mary Mary. Put on one of the, and I just started singing that a little bit, and then I just started looking at stuff, trying to be thankful. And then I was like, okay, I'm supposed to feel like this, because that's the interesting thing about something you love. You should question it. You should question, like, how is this gonna go? Can I do this? Do I want to do? Like, if you don't ask yourself all those questions, then something's gonna happen, and you're not gonna have your why. And today, like, I really found my why. And then I just start pouring into myself. And then I started doing more stuff to kind of move towards it. And then in the middle of doing my job, like, I'm being thankful for stuff. I'm walking and praying and just, like, really building myself up to switch how my mind tried to get me.
Yeah.
So, like, it's still, every time you do something new, there's something, like, like, my faith grew this season. Like, we did something that people didn't think we could do. I didn't, maybe I didn't think that we can do. But now I'm moving on to something even bigger, and here I go. I got to start at ground zero again.
Yeah.
Because now it's a whole new level of faith and belief in myself, and belief in God, and belief in my gifts and my talents, and belief in my work ethic. So it's like, it's constantly changing for me.
Yeah, you know what? In the season that I'm in now, I'm starting to realize that how important your why is. I always knew it was important because you always heard it. What's your why? You got to find your why. But it was just something that I heard. And it never really clicked for me. It was like, oh, I know what my why is. But if you were to ask me, okay, what's your why? I'd be like, well, I had to think about it a little bit. I had to think about it a little bit. But it wasn't until I really understood, oh, okay, where I still have those funks. There are still days where I'm like, man, I got to do this podcast. Unless I'm really excited about it, like when I'm sitting down with a homie, like, this excites me. But there are times where it's
Leading
like,
up to it sometimes.
yeah, it's like, man, now I gotta edit this joint.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, why am I doing this? And then it's something about remembering why I'm doing it and how grateful I am to be able to do it. It's like, okay, oh yeah, I got this. I'm gonna do even better, and I'm gonna put more time into it. And it's just re-energizing, and going back to that perseverance piece of it. There are times, and I'm not even talking about business. I'm just talking about life in general. There are times where it's like, man, I don't want to do nothing. Like,
Because a lot of life is happening at the same time.
man. It's like I just want to hit snooze. I just want to hit snooze, bro. I'm just being real. I have young kids that look up to me and watch it, and I'm sure you see it too. They're looking at how you move without looking at you, right?
They watch us more than
They're
they listen to us.
watching more than they listen
to us. Yeah.
And when you're off, they notice, and they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, there's days where I don't want to persevere, bro. I just like, let me just sit in this bed and just snooze. But I was listening to, I have this TD Jakes motivational playlist on my Spotify. And he has this talk where he's talking about be a runner, pause, right?
Have you ever been swallowed? I was like, oh, Pastor, you went too far with that.
Hey, I rock with you, bro. But, woo! But he said something like, he was talking about eyes want to stay. He said, "Oh, I don't want to do nothing today." He's like, "Man, just stay in the bed. Give life to somebody else." And I'm like, "Ooh," I said, "Ooh, okay." I feel that. Like, I don't want to just stay in the bed. I don't want to give my life to somebody else. And it takes some time sometimes. You know what I'm saying? To want to get up, persevere, do what I got to do. You know, sometimes sometimes it's easy as, you know, just getting in the shower, getting sometimes it's easy just going to my guy Habib and getting the lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that easy, but sometimes it's not. You know, and I think one, just being able to say that to a homie, like, man, sometimes I don't want to be, I don't want to. No. You know what I'm saying? But
And
but
sometimes we shouldn't. Like rest is spiritual. It's in
yeah, I
every
get that.
spiritual book
Yeah.
that there is. And sometimes, I mean, we live in a culture that say you always got to go in order to get it.
Man.
No, when
Oh.
you set your time, go get it. And then when it's time to rest. And then
Yeah.
there's no regrets in that, because you know you put everything out there. But again, it's a hard world to go get it, because there's all these standards, right? And to lay in bed feels like now I'm falling behind.
Man, it does. It does.
When actually, no, bro, you need some rest.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead,
you
rest,
need
B.
to
Go
snooze,
ahead,
bro.
snooze, bro. Like, go ahead and snooze.
Yeah.
Or your body gonna do it. It's gonna talk. Like, we gotta. Sometimes we gotta. All the time you gotta listen
Yes.
to your body.
Yes.
It's gonna set you straight eventually.
It,
If you don't.
it will let you know. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I know that. I know I need to rest. You know, but, you know, there's this part of me that's wired a certain way where it's like, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta somebody that almost like, you know, going back to basketball. Where I forgot where I heard it, but it was like, are you a 5 to 3 guy or a 3 to 5 guy? Are you gonna get up at 5 in the morning and work out until 3? Or are you gonna wait until after school at 3 o'clock and then just practice from 3 to 5 with the coach, right? And it's like, I remember my brother would always say, "There's somebody right now hooping. You in here playing the game." And now I would get up and I start hooping. It's like, I never want to miss. I want to be able to get up and while someone's still asleep. And there's a pride in that. But then it's like, then you crash, and you know you should rest, but you don't want to.
That right there is why I started the dojo. The dojo is about basketball mindfulness, and it's about, like, being completely present while you're there. Then there's no, like, basketball workouts don't have to be long. Like, it's for your 45 minutes, or, you know, whatever time you set aside, be there. Like, you know, that's why I wanted to start the dojo. I had been involved in AAU basketball since 2007, and I am not one of those old heads who don't like new basketball. There's a lot of cats my age I struggle to talk basketball with, because they just talk down so much on the young kids, and they only want to talk about the old game. I think the past, the present, and the future are all necessary for the game. Like, I'm here for all of it. I just think that our kids are growing up in such a results-based atmosphere when it comes to, I could say basketball. You can insert soccer. You can insert track. Any youth sport.
Any youth sport. Really.
There's so many people wrapped up in the results of it because of the investment they have in it. When you're in youth sports and you're passionate about it and you love it and you want to get better at it, it should just be about you having fun and getting better at it. And through that, you're going to gain skill. Your confidence is going to go up, because I'm spending an hour or 45 minutes every day in the gym. I'm getting my 300 shots up. I'm getting my 20 minutes of ball handling. I'm getting my reverse layups in. I can unlace my shoes and I can bounce. I wasn't on my Snapchat every 10 shots I took. I wasn't switching my songs. My headphones wasn't on and off. I wasn't doing all the other stuff. I'm here. I can feel my breath. I know where my feet are at.
Right.
My heart is here. My mind is here. And that's when you can go rest, because you were mindful while you were doing your work. And then you can go rest and be peaceful and mindful while you're with your family, you playing your video game, you hanging with your boys or your friends, whatever it may be. Like, bringing the mindfulness back into it. So kids aren't always so consumed with all the other things. Well, maybe somebody else is working harder. Maybe that's cool.
Right.
I did what I was supposed to do today. I ate right. I slept right. I worked out right. My grades are taken care of. I treat people nice. I open doors for people. I'm healthy in my community. All those things help you be a good mindful basketball
Yeah.
player.
No, that's good, man. I love just how much game you can get from basketball, and you probably get from every sport.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
Basketball's different.
basketball's
Right?
different.
There's a different language to it.
There's a different
Yeah,
language.
Yeah.
There's just so much game, bruh. We talked a lot about perseverance. We talked a lot about what I got from our conversation today is balance with perseverance. Right? There's
You can't persevere unless you rest it.
you can't persevere unless you rest.
You can do it for so long.
You can't persevere unless you're rested.
And you can't persevere unless, like, if you know you're doing the work and you're doing it daily, the perseverance part, like you can't help but persevere because now you're in love with the work. You're in love with the process of it. And that's what you look forward to. So the perseverance part is easy. It starts to become easy.
Yo.
Yeah.
Coach Jew, this man came with a word today.
We be out here.
We be out here.
We be out here, man.
Hey, give me some information on the dojo. Is there anything up that we can give to the people, or is there, we gotta wait for that?
No, so my Instagram is the dojo b-ball. Email is the dojo b-ball at gmail. I got a website coming. I got a book that's 9 chapters, basically about how to play the game of basketball, and it starts from footwork to hand dexterity. I mean, I cover everything. You know what's interesting about basketball too is, it's you think about soccer. There's so much time spent on controlling the ball with your feet, and in basketball we don't teach hand and wrist dexterity and strength.
No.
You know, you think about like whatever direction your hand is facing, if you can get it to go the other way quickly and strong,
Right.
you can, I can reverse my layups, I can fake my passes, you can do a lot of things. So like from footwork to hand dexterity to core to balance to breath work to IQ to emotional intelligence, and then the last chapter kind of wraps up mastering the game. That book will come out, and then I got a 6-part children's book series.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and it's based off of sometimes the game of basketball makes me feel, and then I just use the emotional wheel, and it's sad, mad, scared, joyful, powerful, and peaceful. And just try to help, and that's another part, right? Like when I was growing up, like basketball was used for character. It wasn't again resulting like kids being ranked,
Right,
pre-6th
yeah.
grade and those types of things. Like it should really be about the fundamentals of character and empathy and understanding teammates. And okay, he missed the last second shot. He missed the last second free throw and he's crying and he's sad. How can I help him as a teammate? Or
Right.
I went through that. Now how can I go through that again and not be scared? Right? Or I'm facing a team where they got a bigger team and a big athletic guy. Like how could I be scared but still go compete and
Right,
use some of that?
right.
That's, like those type of things to help them understand. Merch, sweatsuits, all that stuff will be coming here pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll make sure.
And some public speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll make sure whatever I can link to this episode, I'll link it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Again, brother, thank you so much for chopping up with me today. I appreciate that. Man, I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Hey, everybody, thank you for listening. Now, look, I am not a therapist. This is just a conversation about aspects of mental health. If you need help, find help. There are services for you. There will be services linked in this episode of the podcast. Coffee can't fix everything, but we are going to destigmatize the conversation, one conversation at a time. I'll holler at you next time.